If you've been interested in elevating your business in order to increase revenue, listen now to find out more. This is Key Entrepreneurs of Influence with Kieran Sweeney. Each week, Kieran speaks to home-based entrepreneurs, celebrity entrepreneurs, and others who are influential in their industries. Now, here is your host, Kieran Sweeney.
And welcome to Key Entrepreneurs of Influence. And this is Kierans Sweeney, and we're going to have a really enlightening and wisdom-filled show today. And this is really for leaders who really want to elevate their game. Today's show is special. It's going to be different. We have one of the highest paid coaches, business coaches in the world. And he's actually a friend of mine. We've done some work together, and we actually spent some time together yesterday. So knowing him personally is always fun, but I'm always deeply enriched in every moment I spend with him. So we are listening to Key Entrepreneurs of Influence, and the purpose of this radio show is to interview influential entrepreneurs and thought leaders in a very unique mastermind style so that you can receive advice and strategies for elevating your business and, of course, increasing your revenue, but more importantly, having a better life and doing what you love and being on purpose. So each interview, we focus on key areas of business that is fundamental to success. And today we're going to be focusing, I'm going to call this more on leadership. We're talking about really being the greatest leader you can. And what often gets in the way of great leadership is not just having the knowledge and the tools, but it's clearing the junk. We all are human beings. We have our own personal challenges, and we have to deal with life in addition to our business. And often life can get in the way of business, and business can get in the way of life. And it affects family, it affects friends, it affects your colleagues, your employees. And so as leaders in business, and in order to be fully purpose-driven and full-on, and to really be meeting your goals and really be meeting your not just your financial targets, but the impact your product or service is making on the world, we as leaders need to be in our best suit, if you will. We need to be in our best light. We need to be always inspiring and leading. And all of us go through situations in life that may impact us. For example, I do a lot of business coaching, and I do a lot of leadership seminars. And I remember one time I was having my own personal challenge, and I know it was affecting my leadership in my company. And so I had to really check in and do some processes myself to be able to ensure that I'm staying at the top of my game and not allowing outside influences to affect me. So if you're a CEO, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a high-level executive, a C-level executive, today's show is going to really help you, and it's going to give you some insight. And if you feel compelled, reach out to our guest, Satyen. He works with top CEOs, and he works with multi-million-dollar corporations and leaders. So this is a guy who's helping shift the planet in a way through helping leaders. You know, it's funny. I was just reading a post on Facebook. It was an ad, but it was talking about the fact that American CEOs are stepping up because of what's happening in the political world in the United States. What's going on with Trump and government, the private sector is feeling compelled that, we need to step up. We need to be leaders. And it's a Forbes article, so go ahead and read that. But I tell you, this is what's happening in the world. We need corporate leaders to stand up and lead society, and I think that's going to start to happen more and more. And I've predicted this by 2050. I believe that we'll have far more entrepreneurs than we will employees, and we're going to be an entrepreneur-driven society. And it's a new revolution starting, and in order to be an effective and powerful entrepreneur that really does make an impact, we need to be great leaders. And in my view, being a great leader is working on you first. Working on you. We all need to continue to grow and evolve. So let's get right into it. Satyen Raja is the CEO, owner, partner of Warrior Sage, and also Accelerated Evolution. And you're going to love this. This is going to be great. So Satyen, how are you?
Hey, Kieran, it's always an honor and great time to be with you. Very gracious introduction. I appreciate that. I'm doing great today. I'm looking forward to share about these things that I know valuable and close to our own heart and our own integrity. So yeah, let's dive into it, my friend.
Cool. Well, first of all, let's just talk a little about before we get into Accelerated Evolution. Let's talk about Satyen Raja and where he came from, because you've evolved from a Brampton boy, I think, and used to hang out with that funny comedian, I think, and and now you're kind of one of the top thought leaders in our industry. So tell us give us the background. What are the roots?
Well, briefly. I was born in Uganda, Africa, to Indian parents who emigrated to Canada when I was young, when I was 7. So hardworking immigrant parents, had many different businesses growing up. So I was deeply influenced by their business acumen and growing up in an entrepreneurial family. That was my father's side, and my mother's side were all social helpers, humanitarians, Gandhians, holding the Gandhi philosophy close to their heart, doing service for their society. And so I had the entrepreneurial take care of myself, develop my own freedom, my own lifestyle imprint from my father's side. From my mother's side, I got this deep imprint of making a difference in culture and in humanity and in society. So that's been my upbringing. I started out in martial arts. My teachers in the martial art world, they also deeply influenced me to make a difference in the world and to grow myself, to grow my character. They taught me that if I grow my inner being, if I develop my being, if I develop who I am on the inside, become more clear about my own values, my own truth, what I stand for, what I don't stand for, that having that strong center, that strong warrior, the compassionate, enlightened warrior within myself, I would be able to be a greater service to humanity and be able to achieve more freedom, success in my own life. So I pursued that martial art element as a backbone of my life for many, many years, and I still do that. And that's led me into many, many adventures. I've opened up 6 successful businesses in my life, and my venture Warrior Sage Trainings has become a very successful human potential company, doing millions and serving tens of thousands of people internationally over the years. And so I've been in this fortunate position, Kieran, of not only growing businesses, but also seeing what makes the human mind change, transform, attain its highest level of flow state, attain its highest level of success. And I've been in a very fortunate position to extrapolate those subtleties, those awarenesses, those secrets, if you will, and transfer them into other leaders of repute who have big missions, who have deep visions to bring forth and to call forth into life. So I get to do that now, and it's been just a privilege and an exciting adventure my whole life.
Beautiful. Now, I've led some pretty powerful empowerment camps. You've done yours, I've done mine. We've actually done a few together, and we've seen shifts and change occur in those camps, in those courses. But oftentimes people go back to where they were before they got into the camp, and that can happen over the course of a few weeks or a few months. But there's little work being done to sustain transformational change in a way that you're doing it. Now, I've recently experienced your newest work, which is based on years of research and some of the work developed by your mentors. But whoa, what I experienced, and you saw what I went through because you did it, you practiced it on me. But I just was. And this is something for our listeners. You can't describe it; you have to experience it. And so your new venture into accelerated evolution, tell us about it. What is it? Describe it to our listeners, because I was floored by it.
Well, what you bring up is a very powerful point around what a today famous philosopher named Ken Wilber talks about: states versus traits. So we can have a shift in our state. We can do all types of things to evoke our state, drink coffee, jump up and down on the spot, motivate ourselves. There's many, many ways to create a spike in our positive state, or unfortunately, if we're unconscious, go negative if something happens to us. Now, a state is not a trait. A trait is something one develops over a long period of time, like a martial arts skill, playing tennis, writing, any particular skill. To be really good at it, to be exemplary at it, it takes cultivation from turning it into an inspired state into a long-term cultivated trait that one has within themselves. So that's the one distinction I want to get across, why just evoking states is not enough. We need to have cultivation of a trait. Now, the accelerated evolution work that I'm training, I've taken really all my years in psychotherapy, human potential, motivation, understanding how the brain works, understanding the differences between our masculine and our feminine energies, and understanding the underlying root of motivation, as well as the underlying root of what causes problems in our consciousness: stuck obstacle states, not going for what we're really wanting to go for, settling for less than who we are. All these things are within us. And as a catchphrase, we like to call them charges, negative emotional charges. Following me so far?
Yeah, definitely.
So negative emotional charges are caused by something in our past, usually a decision that we made underneath a situation which was difficult. And so we made a decision under duress, in a moment of defeat. I'll never do that again because so-and-so people are like this. I won't take that chance again because if I do, I'll get hurt, or I might lose everything else. Or I may lose this, or I may lose my money, or lose security. So many times we're making decisions unconsciously to avoid suffering or reliving a problem in the past. Those stack up within ourselves and keep us limited and keep us living only a fraction of the level of freedom that is really meant for us. And so what accelerated evolution is, it's a series of guided protocols that transform these stuck states, that find the deepest root of where we have obstacles in our subconscious mind, which keep us from being the top-notch business professionals we could be, keep us from having profound, erotic, interconnected, beautiful, delicious relationships, keep us separate from our families, and keep us a pale shadow. So I like to, as a martial artist, I'm always really testing what works and what doesn't. Does it work in real time? Is it sustained? Will it last for a long period of time? Or is it just a temporary state change? So for me, accelerated evolution is a synthesis of everything that I've learned and brought together over 35 years on training, helping professionals, business coaches, business leaders, in how to re-script their consciousness, not in weeks, months, and years, but literally in minutes, dissolving business traumas, psychological holdbacks, things that people have been limited by. Even the greats come to me who have their own limitations. And what used to take weeks, months, years, if anything, to dissolve them or resolve it, we're able to resolve in 5, 10, 15, 30 minutes. It sounds miraculous. It actually is. But in 30 minutes, we can resolve the deepest seated contraction that keeps us from living our full truth, our full love, and our full abundance that's inherent within us.
Wow. And having, personally experienced, I know exactly what you're talking about. And you know what was interesting about my experience is, there was a subject that mattered that I brought up that we could work on, but it was in the process where something was illuminated, that something that had happened that I had experienced, and I had completely forgotten about it and suppressed it, and really just didn't even know it was there. But after doing the process with you, I realized how powerful some of the suppressed memories that we have that we don't even know are there. That they're like tapes running in our subconscious mind, and they are affecting us. And so having utilized the processes you taught me, and working on other areas in my own life, and working with colleagues and putting these techniques into practice, I've seen massive shifts already. And I tell you, the work is brilliant. So we're just going to leave our listeners hanging on a cliff here, because we're going to go to a commercial break, and we'll be right back. So we have Satyan Raja from Vancouver, British Columbia, and he is a master in shifting consciousness, but also shifting your behavior and shifting your way of operating, so that you can be the true self, the master that you are, and allow your business and your own persona to flourish at its most optimum levels. We'll be right back. Thanks for listening, and we're looking forward to continuing our conversation with Satyan Raja.
Be sure to friend us on Facebook. You can do it right now. Visit facebook.com/Voice America or search for us at keyword Voice America.
Are you challenged in business? Want to double your revenues? Want to work less and earn more? Breakthrough 90 Coaching by Kieran Sweeney is a unique, accelerated process that guides entrepreneurs on creating 7-figure revenue businesses. Contact Kieran at bt90coaching.com or visit our website at bt90coaching.com. You may also call 778-888-5837 right now. Break through the barriers of mediocrity and create the success you deserve.
Find out what's happening on the Voice America Talk Radio Network. Find out about new shows, featured guests, and what's up this week. Find us on Facebook by searching keyword Voice America.
You are listening to Key Entrepreneurs of Influence with Kieran Sweeney. To call into today's program, please call 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. Or feel free to send an email to Kieran. That's Kieron at KieranSweeney.com. Now, back to Key Entrepreneurs of Influence.
And welcome back. We're with Satyan Raja at Key Entrepreneurs of Influence. And, leadership today, it takes a special kind of person, but I believe everyone's special, and I believe everyone can be a leader. And, it takes time, it takes practice, it takes getting education and skills training, but everyone can be a leader. And I find from the work I've been doing over the last 15 years is that, some of us we have things holding us back. And a lot of people say it's fear, mind-based fear, stuff like that. But it's really, things that we're not aware of. And, circumstances happened in life, and circumstances have happened in the past. And, a lot of people, in denial will kind of poo-poo it, if you will, and they think all this personal development stuff is just rubbish. But I'll tell you, I certainly thought that way at one time in my life. But when I started to experience the work and started to do the work, I started to realize I was becoming a better person. I was becoming standing more into my own power, standing up and taking charge and taking leadership in my life, and also being a better business person, a better leader. And this has all allowed me to lead other entrepreneurs so that they can take their gifts to the world and do it with confidence and a certainty and an assurance that their work will be impactful in life. So, Satyan, you've been working with some amazing people over the years, but tell us who is the accelerated evolution for? Like in terms of the people that would train under you, that would benefit from learning this work so that they can take their own business, their own practice, if you will, to an entirely different level. I believe you have a 1% of leaders that will actually be highly paid, successful leaders. And so tell us, who are the people that would really benefit from this?
Well, I have the fortunate circumstance of having this type of work, and I attract leaders who are really aiming to be the 1% standout in their field. So many people who come to train to me are already coaches in their own right. They are working with other people. They could be coaches on a personal level, helping people develop their own personal lives. They could be business coaches and consultants. When they take on these accelerated evolution principles and methods, they're able to create not only for themselves, like literally huge breakthroughs in their own businesses in a short period of time. If they have clients, what they do is they're able to take their clients through these accelerated evolution processes and really dissolve the roots of anything that is holding their clients back from attaining their next level of vision and accomplishment. So anyone who's in the helping industry, who is life coaches, business coaches, we also train physicians, therapists, guidance counselors, and really it's those who have the passion to make a difference in other people's lives is the beginning place for my work. And secondly, you have to have a desire to want to make a difference in people's lives quickly and deeply, because this work doesn't require that you sit there and listen to someone's problems for hours, dissect their case histories, find out the roots of what went on with their family dynamics. It requires none of that. It's so potent. All it does, it finds what is the stuck problem now. Where are you stuck financially? Where are you stuck in your business? Where are you stuck with your family? What's going on? And it dissolves that radically fast. And then one gets a deep sense of peace, tranquility, a sense of connection with who they are, with their authentic, real self. And a sense of equanimity and calmness comes over you. It's not a type of raw, highly motivated state which comes and goes fleetingly. This is like a deep sense of falling back into who you really are. So not only is it good for leaders to be able to remove obstacle states, it's accelerated evolution. It's very effective in removing any barriers to attaining one's goals. So all of us who are in the realm of success, we all have a natural, innate desire, a mission, something to fulfill deeper than we currently are doing in life. If we're really honest with ourselves, there's a deeper purpose, a deeper mission, a wider vision that we're meant to really fully express and develop and birth and bring forth and galvanize on the planet. Unfortunately, many of us don't allow ourselves to go to that level of visioneering and action, like an Elon Musk, like a Richard Branson, like the greats of the world who are in business. We don't do that. It's not because we're any different than them. It's because we don't feel that we can attain those levels of reach, depth, and impact. But I'm here to say we can. All we have to do is remove any of the clouds that are within ourselves so that our soul, our mind, our vision, our actions, our deliverability are all in line. So for me, accelerated evolution represents the cutting edge of bringing all the aspects of us in line to get the job done so that we can be the example that our heart and our soul is meant to be.
Awesome. And, I was just thinking as you're talking, we always hear stories of great success stories, of great accomplishments. There's the icons in society that we're constantly reminded of, the Richard Bransons and Elon Musks and the Tony Robbins of the world. But, there's millions of other great leaders out there, and maybe they won't become the icon. They might become the icon in their city. They might become the icon in their region, their country, maybe eventually internationally. But what?
Or the icon in their own circle of influence.
Yeah, and that's fine. But what's most important is the impact they're making. So if we take a coach or a guidance counselor, a therapist or physician, they may not be aspiring to these, national or international iconic levels, but they want to make a difference where they are. And I say to my clients all the time, if you can just help 1,000 people with your product or service, you're going to be very successful. And there's more than 1,000 people within a 5-mile radius. So we can make great impact locally. And so, but every leader, every successful businessman has had to go through shifts. Richard Branson went through all kinds of challenges. Anthony Hopkins, one of my favorite actors, went through all kinds of challenges. I think he was kicked out of 3 schools, and it's just we have to remember that these people are human beings too. And if you delve into their history and read their biographies, you're going to learn that they had their challenges too. So if you're out there listening and you haven't hit that pinnacle of the game that you're in, and you really want to go higher, do some introspective work. Take a look at what's going on inside. And you'll be amazed at what can be uncovered and shifted very quickly to help you become an outstanding leader. So without naming anybody, I'd love to hear some stories of people that have had massive shifts. You were telling me about some people yesterday, but some of the people you've worked with, high-level executives, C-level executives, entrepreneurs, and I've met some personally in doing this work with you. But tell us some of the experiences that people have had that have completely helped them flourish in their business.
Many come to mind, and fortunately, when you ask me this, I light up inside, because that's really where my deepest fulfillment comes from. One of my clients stands out. When he came to me, he had this brilliant invention, software, which predicts when things are going to be breaking down, when any mechanical things are going to be breaking down months, years in advance, which is really there to revolutionize the maintenance industry. Could you imagine knowing when anything, a car, a bridge, a railway, anything is going to break down? So rather than having to do anything to fix it or to maintain it on a regular basis, we can predict way in advance. Well, he had a brilliant idea, but was very challenged. And for over a decade, was literally working 60 to 80 hours every week, 6-7 days a week, with a small fledgling family, beautiful wife, 2 young children, and had no time for them. His body, his health was, stressed out to the hilt, not taking care of himself, because he's putting in all these hours of work just to maintain his company, to keep it afloat, because his passion was so strong, and he believed in this. But he was surviving year after year, body wrecked, relationship, really suffering deeply, feeling guilty about not having time with his own family and his kids, and really stuck and not knowing where to go, and just like really pushing, but not getting really what he wanted. So he engaged me a couple of years ago, and just because, really on the teeter-totter of collapsing and closing the company. And so the first thing I did with him, I said, okay, we can work on your company, but let's look at the inside first. Because in my philosophy of the warrior sage, the inner world and the outer world are reflections of one another. They're not separate. The outer world is a reflection of the state, the total state of what's within our own being, and manifests itself. So we went into the work of cleaning up and up-leveling what I call the freedoms, which are faith, belief in himself, belief in his own power, belief in his own voice, faith in the universe, faith in the cosmos, faith in God, whatever faith is. So we up-leveled his faith, We up-leveled his family life. I gave him the assignments of making sure now that he nourishes his wife, his children. He says, well, I don't have the time. I don't have this. I go, listen, you're not going to have your wife and kids. You're not going to have any of that. So we redirected all of his energy to first take care of his center: faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun. Those are the freedoms. So I helped him on a very deep journey of finding out why is he not nourishing these fundamental values in his own life. When he got that he was only focused on finance and survival of his business, we rescripted his timetable. We did accelerated evolution to remove the fear, to remove the states of obstacles, his feeling of smallness, his feelings of, I'm not the one who can do this. And literally, in 2 years, he totally turned himself around. He's ripped. He looks sexy as heck. His wife loves me and him. His kids, he's got the best relationship with his kids. He's adventuring around the world with his family right now. And his business, he turned around and he sold it for close to $40 million. And now he's financially free for life and has really what we call the dream life, not only externally, but he has the dream life in emotional fulfillment, in spiritual awakening as well within himself. So he's come to realize that only when his spirit, his soul, his mind, his body, the internal dimension is firing and aligned fully, that the world on the outside responds with ease, with flow state, rather than struggle. Effort is needed for sure, but now he's removed the need for struggle anymore out of his system, and has got a smile from really, every time I see him, he's got a smile ear to ear from the outside, and I know that's coming in from his core. It's not fake. It's a true relaxation into his greatest power from a place of the path of least resistance. It's the total opposite philosophy of crushing it and pushing it and being at the top. He's at the top from a place of freedom, equanimity, and peace. That's the essence, really. That's the success story that stands out, because there's success out there from the outside, but if it's not with a deep sense of fulfillment and joy and faith in the universe and in God and in having fun in the world, then really it's meaningless. So that's one that stands out for me, and there's many like that.
Wow, that's powerful. Well, I mean, that's quite a shift to go from struggle to $40+ million, and it's really, like you said, it's like when you have that. Like you said, your outer world is just a reflection of the inner world. But as you've also taught me, it's there is no difference between the two. It's actually one. And when you said that, it completely changed the concept of that teaching. So it really is when you do that inner work, and when you work on all the 5 freedom areas you mentioned. Yes, all of a sudden, it's. Some people still on a quantum level aren't aware of it, but when we work on ourselves internally, we create a frequency and a vibration that actually starts to really manifest and create the world, the life that we really want. We're going to go to a break, and we'll be right back, and we're going to have going to go to the final dash to the finish line here with this show, but we're going to amp it up and really get into some really great talk. And we have Satyan Raja, who's one of the highest paid coaches in the world, works with top corporate leaders and leaders in society, and we'll be right back.
Be sure to friend us on Facebook. You can do it right now. Visit facebook.com/Voice America or search for us at keyword Voice America.
Are you challenged in business? Want to double your revenues? Want to work less and earn more? Breakthrough 90 Coaching by Kieran Sweeney is a unique, accelerated process that guides entrepreneurs on creating seven-figure revenue businesses. Contact Kieran at bt90coaching.com or visit our website at bt90coaching.com. You may also call 778-888-5837 right now. Break through the barriers of mediocrity and create the success you deserve.
Find out what's happening on the Voice America Talk Radio Network. Find out about new shows, featured guests, and what's up this week. Find us on Facebook by searching keyword Voice America.
You are listening to Key Entrepreneurs of Influence with Kieran Sweeney. To call into today's program, please call 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. Or feel free to send an email to Kieran. That's Kieron at KieranSweeney.com. Now, back to Key Entrepreneurs of Influence.
And welcome back. This is Kieran Sweeney with Key Entrepreneurs of Influence. And today we're diving into the whole realm of leadership and what it really takes to accelerate yourself to the highest levels. And Satyen was just sharing a story of one of his clients who, had an amazing software and was struggling in all areas of his life and were being challenged. And this happens with many entrepreneurs, many executives, is the work sometimes becomes all-consuming, and we put so many hours into it. And I was reading something this morning about people over 40 should only be working 3 days a week, and we need to be spending more time in nature. We need to be spending more time focusing on relaxation and doing the things that are good for ourselves, meditating and exercising and being with the people you want to be with and being out in your community. And so this is all achievable. And a lot of people are starting to realize that, I can get more done in 3 to 4 days. And personally, I only work 4 days a week now because I need that time for myself. I need that time for reflection. So Friday's my day off, and unless I'm doing a course that falls on a Friday, I will take, a Monday off or a Tuesday off. But I'm always taking the time to be with myself as well and do what I need to do for me versus that grind. I'm working with a gentleman right now. We're building a campaign to help other coaches, and there's a difference between a rainmaker and a grinder. And rainmakers are the people that work smart. They figure out how to make things happen without having to sacrifice everything in their life and working 12 to 14 hours a day. It's not worth it. So leadership also requires delegation and being able to inspire and motivate other people so that the work gets done. So Satyen, you've helped a lot of people, and the story you shared with us was great. Give us another story of somebody who's taken their business from where it was at to an extraordinary level of success.
Certainly. When you were sharing, I was thinking what one of my mentors, he shared with me this philosophy that struggle is nothing but effort laced with negative emotion. I'll say that again. Struggle is effort laced with negative emotion. Mm-hmm. And myself growing up in an East Indian family with a very strong, hardworking, 7 days a week work ethic, that's what we did as immigrants to make it in the world and to develop ourselves and to put some roots down here and flourish in Canada. And unfortunately, that old school era isn't, well, fortunately and unfortunately, if you've already moved beyond that, you're not in survival anymore, you don't need struggle. But unfortunately, that struggle imprint is still within us. Even in the highest entrepreneurs, even when they attain levels of success that they want, financial success, There could be an unconscious fear that I'll lose it all, or that I got to push harder because the dry time may come a little later. So there's no reprieve. There's no real rest. When an entrepreneur is home or a leader, they're thinking, darn it, I got to complete this task, finish this, tie that up at business. And so they're locked in work even with their family life. When they're at home with their family, they're distracted. And then when they're in work and business, they're distracted because they're pining and hoping that they had more time with their family and times for their own pursuits and interests. So this is a very maddening, conflicting world. And I had one of my clients come to me like that a few years ago, and she was an eminent CEO. She had been a very powerhouse CEO leading billion-dollar companies in very powerful geopolitical circles, and very, very skilled, very, very masculine, very, very can do anything, strong leadership already inherent in her. But what she was missing was a state of flow. She was yearning for a type of peace, tranquility. She was yearning to enjoy life. And so the first thing I taught her was, you know what, there's a difference between the masculine energy within us, which men and women, we all have, regardless of our sexual preference. And there's a big difference between the feminine energy within us as men and women, regardless of our sexual preference. Now, the feminine within us, the illusion of the feminine within us is one day when X, Y, and Z is accomplished, I'll finally be able to have the love that I want in my life. That's the feminine illusion. And the masculine illusion is one day when X, Y, Z is complete, when I finish this, when that goal is attained, whatever it is, then I'll be finally free. These are illusions. So I trained her in this, and I got her to get that, you know what? Rather than try to get a future freedom from your masculine illusion, or try to have a future love that's deep and beautiful and that's fulfilling in the future when X, Y, and Z is complete in your checklist, what is the love and the freedom you have already? What have you gained? What have you won? What love and freedom have you already succeeded and are victorious with from your life accomplishments? And when she reoriented herself around being an offering of freedom, an offering of love, rather than a perpetual neurotic seeker of love and freedom, all of a sudden a huge switch turned on. Something totally transformed in herself. And then she went into a state of flow so she went from powerful corporate CEO leader into one of the most accomplished CEO coaches of our time. And she's now doing 7 figures plus, and her number one complaint that she has with me is, what do I do with all my free time? Which I said, well, now you get to spend it on making love with your partner, enjoying the sun, traveling, enjoying life, being philanthropic. So really now she's in a creative moment because she had this deep imprint of continuous success. Keep going for higher levels of success. She had that deep imprint. We transformed that imprint into now have deeper levels of fulfillment instead of the external ideas of what society imprinted her, her family, her mother, her father, who were always pushing her for more. You're not enough, you're not enough. She was trying to fulfill her mother and father's destiny for her rather than her soul's longing. So now she fulfills her soul longing, and the results are a 7-figure income, oodles of time freedom. She works 2 to 3 days maximum per week, and now is enjoying serving humanity, serving other great business leaders in her goal as really a high-level coach, consultant, and guide to really billion-dollar companies and higher and geopolitical circles. So that story is very fulfilling to me because I know so many successful business people on the outside making the money, looking like they have the dream lifestyle, but inside are sick and tired of their life and wish they were free, you know? So now she's got freedom on the inside which is only attracting and resonating deeper freedom from all around her. She's in a state of joy and flow. And that, to me, is what we all deserve, what you deserve, what I deserve, what our families deserve, what our society deserves, is the full flowering of us as a new leader, as a new human, as an integrated master of life, not just a master of business.
The whole state of flow is so important. Now, I was just thinking as you were talking, times in my life when my energy was being, affected by what I was doing, so my actions, and often we maybe get obsessed with something where we have to figure something out, or we have to do more of this and looking into a due diligence somebody or delving deeper and deeper into the research of something we're working on, and sometimes we just have to just step out and step back and allow other forces, other powers to guide us, to allow us to accomplish and reach what we want. Because many times things will be presented by you from, there's a great saying, what we can't see in this world is far more powerful than what we can see. And it's, understanding that everything at the quantum level is already in flow and happening, and we need to allow our physical selves to go with the flow, as the saying goes, but often we don't practice it. We're not going with the flow. So here's what I'm, gathering from all of this. Many of us are striving for success. We're achievers. We're overachievers, and we know we are, and we're workaholics and all this kind of stuff. But success can be achieved in a very different way by, first of all, working with these processes you created, designed with others, and once you start to live that way, things do come easier. I mean, we've just had two examples. These people are real stories, and here's two people that have had complete life transformations and are living the 5 freedoms, the 5 F's, and they're having fun. They're fit again. Their family is great, and all of a sudden you start to realize that I can have it all, but I don't have to grind it. I don't have to struggle, and you just have to learn to harness higher powers and be in that state of flow. So what are your thoughts on that? Because we're going to be coming to a close soon, and just wanted to get your insight into that, and then maybe tell people how they can get a hold of you so that they can talk to you about how you can help them.
Certainly. Well, this old paradigm of struggles, pushing it, crushing it, it's dying. It's killing us. It's killing us as entrepreneurs. It's killing us as leaders. It's killing our relationships. It's killing our health. It's just the reality, the way it is. So we may be able to make external pushes of success from the outside. Many of the things I've seen outside, people are in a false way sharing what their gross is in their sales and in their external success, but their net may be minus 10. They may make 100,000 in gross or $1 million in gross, and be spending, $1.1 million in earning that. So the truth is what's really sets us free. We all know this saying. And I think we're in a paradigm now where equilibrium, coming into harmony with nature, doing business, growing our business and our success in line with our inner nature, which is in line with the nature of reality, the nature of the earth. And this is the time and the era where we can learn to bring ourselves from the old paradigms of success and gently and with grace, with ease, not with trial and tribulation anymore. We don't need success to come with trial and tribulation. We don't need fulfillment to come through overcoming obstacles and becoming heroes. We can attain this through equanimity, just like the ancient masters, the wisdom teachers of the past have told us. So for me, this is not just a pie-in-the-sky philosophy. I've seen this. I've gone from my own story, Kieran, of extreme, all these things I'm talking about I've seen in others. It's myself as well. Hardworking, I busted my buns for years and years until I learned to activate these codes within ourselves, these accelerations of our consciousness. So all I want to say and leave us with today is have and be open to the path of least resistance. There is a way of attaining your deepest yearnings, your deepest goals, taking a new path, a path of least resistance and highest attainment. I happen to call it accelerated evolution. And how people can find out about my work is simply that we actually have an assessment to find out and to look at really what is the level of struggle, how dialed in are you currently, and we have an assessment available on my website, which is warriorsage.com. And simply go there, there's an assessment, fill that out, and you'll get a really clear sense of what is in harmony, what is in flow state, and what really isn't. And you'll then start on the path of how to bring yourself from any type of aberration and struggle into flow state to start attaining what's really meant for you, what really is meant for you to bring forth in the world.
Beautiful. Well, it's been a pleasure having you, and check out warriorsage.com and do the assessment. And if you feel compelled to get in touch with Satyen, go ahead and watch your life just evolve and shift and change like thousands of other people have been impacted by his work. So it's been a real pleasure having you, Satyen, and we are going to wrap this up. And I just want to say thank you all for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for holding your attention. And, feel free to, if you know anybody that could benefit from this work, feel free to refer them to this show and so that they can listen to it and benefit from this work. This is Kieran Sweeney with Key Entrepreneurs of Influence. We'll be back next week with another great show. Have a great day. Have a great week.
Thank you for joining Kieran Sweeney and Key Entrepreneurs of Influence. We hope you'll tune in again for another edition of the program next Tuesday at noon Eastern Time and 9 a.m. Pacific Time on the Voice America Influencers channel. Have a good week.